Oh, wow. Landon is so cute. Chris Thomason's son, so cute. We love having these children here, and it's good to know that he went to Driscoll Children's Hospital yesterday and came out healthy today. So that is the kind of stories we like to bring you, and I want to introduce you now to 11-year-old Julian. Rudy Trevino told his miracle story, and let's meet him.
I was told he had necrotizing fasciitis, which anytime a surgeon hears that term, immediately we're thinking somebody who's on the verge of death.
Dr. Mohammed Emran, chief surgeon at Driscoll Children's Hospital, was alerted about 11-year-old Julian Maldonado's condition when he came through the emergency room doors.
Well, back in training, we saw it all the time in adults. In children, this is probably the second case of it that I've seen in a kid.
It started on the weekend of Martin Luther King. We were visiting family in San Antonio.
The Maldonados noticed Julian getting sick, vomiting, and fever.
We just thought it was a stomach virus, stomach flu, nothing crazy.
But as it turns out, it was more than crazy. Julian's illness, diagnosed by an urgent care clinic as appendicitis, turned out to be a horrifying nightmare.
11 is when he woke up again, but this time he was saying that his leg hurt and that like his arm hurt. He kept saying that his arm was hurting and he was crying. We had never seen that before. So that's when me and my husband decided to come to Driscoll's.
By the time he came in, he was critically ill. And he went to the intensive care unit. And at that point, he went to surgery.
It was clear to Driscoll Children's doctors Julian had an overwhelming infection, in medical terms called septic.
He had an infection to begin with in the abdomen. And this was severe. It was rather sudden in onset. And it was very evident from the beginning that it was a life-threatening situation for him.
By the time it was all over, Julian underwent several surgeries and was given massive amounts of antibiotics to beat the overwhelming infection. Julian's leg had to be amputated, but in the end, doctors at Driscoll Children's Hospital saved his life.
When I was driving to the hospital on that Monday night, I passed by another hospital. I passed by urgent care centers that looked like they had no cars in their parking lot. But I just kept going, and I don't know if we would still have him if we hadn't stopped.
Even though we were dealing with a difficult situation, we always felt that we are in the right place. That, showing up at Driscoll's Children's Hospital was the best thing we could have done.
We love to hear that Julian is doing so well, and I want to introduce you to two of the people who have made his recovery possible. Dr. Katie Weisman, you operated on Julian, and we're going to talk to you in just a sec, and then Mandy Alanis, who is now his physical therapist. So we'll come to you in a second. Dr. Weisman, tell me a little bit about Julian and his condition and what it was like to operate on him.
Yeah, so Julian came in and initially had just nausea and vomiting, leg pain, some arm pain, and luckily Dr. Morrissey, the ER doctor, immediately diagnosed a life-threatening infection called necrotizing fasciitis. We took him to the operating room emergently actually, and he had to undergo multiple surgeries to remove the bacteria from his body. So that required, unfortunately, amputating his leg above his knee, and then multiple surgeries in his back and his shoulder area to remove the affected tissue. And it's truly a miracle that he's here with us today, because whenever these bacteria get inside your body, it's almost impossible to remove it. So he truly is our miracle.
Wow, that is incredible to hear. And we talk about infections spreading so quickly, I'm sure in a young boy as well. You said he just celebrated his 11th birthday, and you're wearing a really special shirt, so I want to ask you about it. Tell everybody about this shirt.
Julian, this is a quote that Julian had for us in the hospital. And it says, "Everyone is strong, they just don't know it."
Wow, and that's pretty profound for a 10-year-old. And you said he just turned 11, and there's a reason he's not here today. Why is that?
So he just completed his, hopefully his final surgery to get him up and moving and back to normal. He was discharged from the hospital yesterday. Hi, Julian.
Julian, he's watching from home.
Wow.
So that's hopefully his final surgery, and he's doing well?
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Weisman, thank you so much. And I'm going to move over here to Mandy Alanis. Now, you're his physical therapist, so I'm sure when a child has a leg that's amputated, it takes a lot to get back to a new normal of living. So tell me a little bit about Julian's recovery and your involvement in that.
Sure. It is actually started in the hospital because one of the first things that has to happen is they have to get out of bed. And that's painful. He had wound vacs to multiple areas of his body. He was hurting and scared. And thankfully, child life played a big part, and lots of people and the surgeons encouraging him. And we were able to get him up early and mobilize. So some kids have just an amputation, and that's hard enough. But he had all of this stuff. And then every time we would get him doing good, he would have to have another surgery. And so it's just this long process. Thankfully, once he got out of the hospital, I also got to see him on the outpatient side. And a few weeks ago, we were actually worked with a prosthetist, and he got fitted for his new prosthesis. And now, the week before he went to surgery, he's able to walk pretty good with just one loft strand crutch, which is amazing.
Wow. I was just going to ask if he was going to be fit for a prosthetic, so you answered the question. How excited is he? 11 years old, it's probably 5th grade, so all of those kids are out playing, and he's going to be able to do that.
He is, and he's so excited, and they're working on getting him a water prosthetic, so fishing is his passion, and so that he can get that going, and he is just an amazing kid. Like, it made it possible for him to be this much better because of his personality and his amazing family support. His parents are amazing and are willing for him to work hard, which is really hard when your kid's hurting, that they're willing to say, no, Julian, you have to put this work in. And, you get him one small step and then he wants more. He was so funny when he first came to outpatient because he's like, if it's easy, it's boring. So every time.
No, he's not boring.
No, not at all. He's amazing.
Wow, well, thank you so much, Manuel and East, Dr. Katie Weisman, for everything you've done for Julian. And you heard them say it. He just got his final surgery, hopefully his final surgery this past week, discharged from the hospital yesterday. So, Julian, if you are at home, we are so proud of you. Congratulations. And hopefully you can get that fishing prosthetic so you can get back there in the water. But what an amazing story to see Julian being so successful, getting ready to be a normal kid again. So we love reporting on these miracle stories, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.